Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's update on Invest 91E. Yes, we got a new invest in the Eastern Pacific today that could be a pretty, it could be a threat to the southern Mexican coast in the next 5 to 6 days, depending on how things play out. We're going to take a look at the models, we're going to take a look at the SSTs, and we're going to take a look at the heat potential as well with some of the models and what they have to say about the system. Okay, here we go. Showers and thunderstorms are beginning to show signs of organization. That is important to note there. Showing signs of organization. In association with a surface trough located a few hundred miles south of the Gulf. I'm going to just call it GOT because I cannot pronounce that word to save my life. GOT. Environmental conditions are forecasted to be conducive for gradual development, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this week or this weekend while the system moves west-northwest or northwestward at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Interests in southern Mexico should monitor the progress of the storm. So the 48-hour chances of 40%, which is in orange, and the 5-day chances are high at 80%, which is red, which we'll look at here. See, it's a red here. So this has pretty high confidence that something will probably form out of this. We just don't know what yet. It's now at least an invest right now. So speaking of invest, here we are in invest 91E as of the 18Z update here. This is located at 11.0 north, 95.0 west. Maximum sustained winds are 25 knots or 30 miles per hour. Minimal central pressure is at 1,009 millibars, so it's already getting there. It's at 30 miles per hour. So you got to get some more organization going here before we can call it anything here. So here we are at the GEPS tracks and minimal MSLP, and as you can see, it's just updated, so we don't really have a whole lot of info with these. And you can see that most of these models do take it into Mexico and try to bring it out here into the Bay of Campeche. So we're gonna have to see how that all pans out heading into time. And here's the GEFS tracking minimal MSLP. And it's pretty much the same thing. It takes it right through the thinnest part of Mexico and tries to bring it into the Bay of Campeche. We're just gonna have to see how it goes on, and we'll look at the GFS, and we might bring up the CMC too. We'll look at those, and there's a very, very certain bias that goes into play with the GFS, and that's probably why it's overplaying the storm a little bit because of that convective feedback bias that the GFS is known for. So we'll take a look at that here soon. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the NOAA Coral Reef Watch sea surface temperatures here, and you can see here we got plenty enough fuel, water, hot waters here. We're looking at 31s, even a pocket of 32s here. We got plenty of warm water here to supply the storm with once it starts to get going. But, what is sea surface temperatures if you don't have everything else going for it, which we'll take a look at again. And one of those key features here is the heat potential. That is the 80-degree depth SST at depths, but not the surface. This right here, this is the surface temperatures. We want to look at what is below the sea surface temperatures, and we're going to take a look at that right now. All right, so now you can see here, this is the tropical cyclone heat potential. Like I said, this is the 80-degree isotherm at depth, like below the surface here. And where this system is going to be going here, we're looking at anywhere from 50 to 60, uh, heat potential here that it can use. It's enough, but is it really enough to support what the GFS has been showing? And my answer is kind of on it's on the iffy side, if I could say that. But we do have enough heat potential here to create a tropical cyclone out of this as we head out through time. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the infrared satellite here. And you can see that it's still, even though NHG says there's signs of organization right now, this is still disorganized. It still needs a little bit more time to really, get itself together. We do got concentrated areas of convection here, which is a sign of what you need to see in order to have a tropical system form. But right now, it's not concentrated enough in one area to really, you know, say anything about it too much right now. As we're going to go to high resolution here, and you can see that there is some slight rotation here. Actually, let's go here. Yeah, you can see some slight rotation in this, but this is mostly at the mid levels of the atmosphere. We're looking now at, we have to see if the mid levels drill down to the low levels with that spin, and that's one of the keys to knowing if this is going to be a tropical cyclone or not. But there are some low level motion here, but it's all towards the south southwest, and it's not really curving in to really do anything with it and what have you. So it has a little bit more time to organize. I wouldn't expect a tropical depression for at least another 48 hours. So probably this time on Friday. That's just my guess right now, but yeah, 48 hours or so. All right, so here is the GFS, and this was initialized at 12Z today, and we're looking at the Eastern Pacific here. And as you can see, a low pressure system starts to really develop here around the 24-hour mark. So let's see what the conditions are like. We're looking at 13 knots of shear and 88% relative humidity, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. And you see here, 1008, for some reason it's not letting me look at that. So as you can see here in 72 hours, it starts to really try to get together here. For some reason we can't look at that too. And here at 90 hours, 96 hours, we're looking at 983 millibars. This is getting really, that's high-end Cat 1, borderline Cat 2 pressures here. So, GFS, this might be a byproduct of the convection feedback bias that it has. I just think that it's overcooking this a little bit too quickly, to say the least. But as you see here, we get to the hour and 120 hour mark, and we're down at 954 millibars. So GFS really, really just takes this up and blows it up, to pretty decent measures here. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at the 200 millibar wind levels. This is how we look at shear here, and you can see there's an ULAC here that is providing some decent, low wind shear here, and you can see, that small little group of low wind shear just kind of just follows it in here at the hour 120 mark. So it tries to keep into that little small pocket of lower wind shear here as we hit out through time. And we're gonna take a look at the we're gonna take a look at this here. And as you can see, it kind of just, this doesn't look too good from this perspective, but most of the time when we look at wind shear, we look at the 200 millibar level here, and it has a small little, pocket here of decent shear. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the relative humidity too, because that's just as important for a system than anything else. And you can see that it has a pretty decent moisture feel to it. There's no dry air that's seeping into this at all. It has a really rich moisture bubble here. And it's going to be hard for, any type of dry air to try to get in here because it's so protected at this point that, it's having a hard time trying to cipher in the dry air. And of course, this model takes it close to the Mexican border. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but people living in the southern Mexican coast needs to pay attention to this, and that's why I'm making a video on this to help you guys pay attention to what is going on here. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the European, the ECMWF, and this was initialized at 12Z. So this is the newest run here, and you can see that it takes a while for it to consolidate, about 72 hours for a low pressure system to really, start to kick in here. And let's see if we can't take a look at the wind shear here. 2 knots of shear and 85% relative humidity. So the shear is definitely on the good side here with the system. So now we're going to take a look at 120 hours out. And this is 989 millibars, which is getting close to a hurricane status here. And we're just going to go to 132. We're not going to go any farther than this because this is still within the 5-day time range. And you can see that, we're talking about, 985 millibars that is leaning its way closer to the Mexican border. So, like I said, that's the GFS and European that wants to take it to the border here. So let's take a look at the 200 millibar wind field here. Well, not wind field, but shear. And as you can see, there's still the upper level anticyclone here that's setting up shop. Is going to be with us here for a while. And you can see that it just follows the system and it creates a favorable small patch of wind shear here where the low level center is on this system. So that's what's going to be causing this to strengthen is the lack of wind shear, which is needed for tropical cyclones to flourish in these types of environments. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same thing here too. It just keeps a small little field of favorable, conditions where the low level center might be. And as long as that low level center is in that favorable shade, that's good wind shear. So we're just gonna have to see how that all pans out as we head out through time. And let's see. I forgot if there was some moisture. Yeah, we got relative humidity moisture here too. So as you can see, the European has a pretty decent, moisture bubble too here. And it's, you can see that the dry air here to the west is trying so hard to invade the system, but the moisture bubble is just saying, nope, you can't come in. And that's why you see it strengthening up until landfall, because there's just no, dry air to invade on this. And the wind shear is fairly good too. So, and what happens is when you don't have wind shear, that dry air isn't going to get in. So, with that being said, people on the South Mexican coast needs to pay attention to this. I will be back here every day until this event is over. And, I want to keep you guys informed as much as I can throughout this event in case it does come your way or, it starts going more west than anticipated. I'm going to be there for the long haul. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Prepare, pay attention to what's going on, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Have a nice day.